I mean, not surprised. It had gotten out that LeBron, from the beginning, when Kyrie had requested the trade privately, that LeBron was like, don't trade him. Like, don't listen to him. Don't fall to his demand. So I wasn't surprised by that. There were a few other things along the way as far as them not getting other players and not being able to acquire other players that might have been able to salvage LeBron staying there. But ultimately, it was in the cards for him to leave. Not just because of basketball, but because of who owns the basketball team. And Dan Gilbert, him and LeBron, not unless they added another superstar to replace Kyrie, would LeBron stay there. It didn't fit in his business model as far as what he wanted moving forward. So I'm not surprised, not shocked at all, that LeBron, who owned 2 houses in Los Angeles, decided that he was going to go to the Lakers.
And this is all about Dan Gilbert. And this is this article that the Kyrie stuff, I don't think, was breaking news to a lot of people. But the nugget in there that I thought was great reporting was that as Kyrie was about to be traded, that Ty Lue drove to see LeBron, who was doing an autograph signing in Santa Monica, actually, got LeBron on the phone with the new GM, Kobe Altman. LeBron expressed, do not trade him. We can fix this. He's got 2 years left on his deal. And according to 4 people that were privy to the conversation, Kobe told him, all right, we won't trade him. And within 15 minutes, Kyrie was traded. And that's when LeBron says on the record, that's how I knew that Kobe was not going to be David Griffin, who was actually in charge, the previous GM, that this was going to be Dan Gilbert's operation. And it was that moment I said all last year that barring a Cavs championship, there was no way they could retain him. LeBron, it should not be overstated, the level of betrayal I think he felt when he comes back to Cleveland, signs a 1-year deal, signs another 1-year deal. They win a championship. He signs a 2-year deal. And so the first offseason that LeBron does not have the leverage or the power, the owner, Dan Gilbert, who he never fully trusted, doesn't retain the GM and trades away the second-best player on the team. The 1 year LeBron couldn't exert his influence, Dan Gilbert said, I'm going to remake the team in my image. And the team is remade in his image now, being the worst team in basketball. Like, he got exactly what he wanted. I just don't know why he wanted it.
Well, quick question to that. They are the worst team. What, 2-13 is the Cavs record now? Does that make what LeBron did last year with this Cavs team that much more impressive, CC?
I mean, they were bad last year. I mean, I was critical of them the whole year. So I'm not, I knew they weren't all right. I knew the ownership wasn't going to be all right. So it was very impressive what he did last year. But ultimately, it's still about winning championships. They didn't have enough firepower.
Yeah.
Getting that team to the finals was an accomplishment for him. But for LeBron, it's about hoisting that trophy. And last year, they didn't have a chance.
And what this does illustrate, though, is the level of almost illusion of Dan Gilbert, who once LeBron left, signs Kevin Love to a long-term extension and tells anyone that's going to listen, we're going to be competitive this year. Even though if we're not one of the 10 worst teams in the league, we lose our draft pick. We don't care. We want to be competitive this year. They're trying to be competitive, and they're the worst team in basketball.
All right, keep trying. Nick, I would imagine you had an interesting reaction to Kerr's comments.
Listen, I don't know so much of it's the real NBA as it is the NBA for the Warriors without Stephen Curry. We can go back to last year. In the last 2 years with Steph, they're 51-12. Without him, they're 19-18. 19-18 on a team that has had Kevin Durant, has had Klay Thompson. I understand this year Draymond's missed some of these games as well with injury and suspension, but they've had Draymond Green. For some reason, and it's one that I imagine has to do with the fact that the Warriors' entire identity is built around the gravity Steph has on the defense and the selflessness that Steph plays with. They play beneath their talent level without him, more so than any team that I would expect with that other superstar level of talent, because that's not what they look like without Durant. Without Durant, they're not as good as they are with him, but without Durant, they still win 2 out of every 3 games. They're still one of the best teams in basketball. And so, yeah, it is the real NBA, and they're going to play in the real NBA like they did last year for 31 games without Steph Curry.
Yeah, we had a conversation when we started the season, the Warriors, how would their season go? I said I thought they would struggle before they got Boogie Cousins, before they get him, because I think that in trying to repeat, they're going to face what I knew were unseen obstacles out there, that being either injuries. I didn't think it would be the turmoil inside, but the attrition with this team, the number of playoff games, somebody had to get hurt. They've been remarkably healthy in this string, so I thought that they would struggle. I thought they'd struggle to be able to win 65 games like that. I didn't think that they would be as special as they've been, and that's what we're going to see. Steph is a special basketball player, and I'm glad. They go to their job. Their job's hard, just like everyone else. It's better for the NBA. It's not good for the NBA that they continue to dominate. But there's no team in the NBA, there's no owner would say, you know something, I'll trade my situation for your situation. The Warriors have the best situation, and everyone is envious of that, and it will still be the same result at the end of the season, Jenna.
And going into the year, I did think this team could, assuming health, and that they could win 70-plus games. And they were 10-1 going into the game Steph Curry got hurt. They lost that game, and they've now lost 4 of 6 since then. He's the one guy they can't play without. The one guy. Now, they wouldn't be a 70-plus win team if they lose any of the other guys for a substantial amount of time, but they wouldn't be below 500. They wouldn't be a team that is struggling to score the way they are. Steph is the most important guy on the team. I do not care who the best guy on the team is anymore, because it really only matters within the confines of your team who has the biggest impact on winning, and it's Steph by a mile.
Knowing what kind of impact Steph Curry has on the team, does that alter the course of maybe what Kevin Durant does, and now how you feel about what Kevin Durant does? Maybe it's not as crucial that the Warriors keep him, knowing who is the most vital part of the team?
I'm not going to get into who's the most vital and everything. I don't think that has anything to do with Kevin Durant and what he's going to do. Kevin Durant was never commissioned to be in Golden State for the rest of his career. Like, he was only going to come there for a certain period of time. What is that period of time? 3, 4, 5 years? I never thought, people in the basketball world never thought that he would retire there. As far as him, Steph, being that much better or more important, I don't think it's really that important for me to try to determine that. They are not. The reason why they're special is because everything that they have. And if they lose any piece of it, Draymond's been nicked up. Draymond's playing the worst basketball. So now you have one of their stars hurting, and Draymond's not playing well. So if that was Steph, if that was Clay, if it was KD, they would still be suffering.
In my response to your question, Jenna, I think, while I don't think it will have an effect on Kevin Durant's decision, I do think that if and when, and it's more when than if, Kevin Durant leaves, the Warriors, with this team minus Durant, still a championship contender. Like, I do not think the Warriors, who were a contender before Durant got there, if they lose him, all of a sudden go to that next tier of teams. They just join, as Kurt's talking about, then they will once again be in the real NBA, where there's a half dozen teams that have a real shot at a championship. They'll be one of them, as opposed to minus 250 favorites against the entire rest of the league combined.
And a lot of people think that would make the NBA better.
Yeah,
a little
more compelling.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from First Things First, or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.